Hi there, Trevor here from Double Bill Movies. Right, this is episode 1 of the 39 series. So, obviously this one is on my channel, the next one will be on Bumper's channel. Obviously, today's film is absurd. You could only get this t-shirt if you took part in the 88 Films Indiegogo fundraiser to get 4 movies restored. And obviously one of them was absurd. I have another video on my channel that explains more about that, so I'll leave a link for that in the description. Anyway, on to our sort of series, mine and Bumper's series of the 39. So Video Nasties only really came about in the UK, anywhere else in the world, and they're just horror films. But in the early 80s, about 1983, the BBFC, the British Board for Film Certification, decided that these films needed to be banned and that we weren't allowed to watch them. So 39 out of, there's quite a lot of films, there's actually 3 categories, but 39 of them were not only banned, but they were successfully prosecuted, and there may even be some people that did some time in prison for these offences, essentially. But in doing so, these censor people kind of gave these films some notoriety and made the public, the people that like going to the video stores back then and renting films, thinking, well, where's this film? I want to see this film. And so as time's gone by and slowly these movies have started to appear in our home collections, and we kind of want to watch them all and say, well, what were we missing? So this is the first one. We're going through them alphabetically. It's just the easiest way to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read Bumper's review, Bumper's thoughts first, and then we'll get to my thoughts afterwards. So, for his positives, he's given it good gory kills, good effects work, and he found it an interesting story. He thought it was well paced and serviceable acting. There we go. Right, so now to a couple of negatives. He said the dialogue lines are delivered with a bit of monotone feel. Maybe the voice acting was done after filming. Yeah, he's correct. That is the way the dialogue was done. I'll go more into that at another video, but dialogue replacement basically. So well done, Bumper. And he says it throws you straight into the action, maybe slightly jarring for people who have no previous knowledge of the film. Yes, it does. So, if it's your first time watching, be ready for the off. Right. So, the other criteria that... sorry, I've got it on a laptop here. That we basically... sort of decided on for these videos. So the first bit, does it feel like a video nasty? Bumper has put, not really. 88 Films have cleaned it up nicely. The restoration work is fantastic and the movie, although violent, never felt like something I shouldn't be watching. Yeah, that's the idea of our videos really. Should they be video nasties? Does it feel like you're watching a video nasty? There's many different factors. So I would say that back in the VHS days when all this happened, things may have felt a bit different. But anyway, I'll carry on reading Bumper's notes. So, should it have been a nasty? This is what his thoughts are. So again, no, not really. When you look at the other slashes from the same time period, it's no worse really. No boobies either, but that's a lot of blood. But there is a lot of blood. So yes, it's very lacking on the naked boobies department. You know, that's a horror trope. and us horror fans kind of like to have these horror tropes in to make up the full ingredients of a horror film. But you know, we can't have naked women and things in all horror films. So right, so then this is Bumper's view. Should a modern day horror movie fans check out this movie? And he says, absolutely. It has it has similar. Let me clear my dinner out my throat. Sorry, Bumper. Right, absolutely. It has similarities to a lot of popular slasher movies, but with that added Italian splatterfest flavour. That's cool. Great remark. Says, if you like movies such as Halloween, then definitely check it out. So there you go. If you're a modern fan of horror and you watch things like The Conjuring and Insidious and that kind of thing, sorry, mine went blank there, and of course Halloween and that kind of thing, then yes, Bumper thinks you should absolutely check out this movie. So he's got a little summary at the end here, and it says, great slasher movie, huge similarities to movies like Halloween and Friday the 13th, but with an Italian splatter sprinkling on top. Great hulking 7-foot guy. Yes, the lead guy is huge in this movie. High concept kills. And then familiar POV shots with Friday the 13th style music make it relatable to all slasher fans. There you go. I think that's a pretty good summary, and I wholeheartedly agree. Then he says his favourite scene was with the babysitter getting cooked in the oven. Okay, so there are some spoilers here. That's fine, but you know, you still need to watch it to see how well it was done. And then he says, but coming back out for one last hurrah. Oh, and the saw scene is pretty great too. So he's giving it 8 out of 10. That's a pretty high score for his first time seeing Absurd. And he said it was a fantastic start to the 39 journey. Okay, so my thoughts. So I watched this version. Now, essentially, this is the same as your version, but I'm lucky. I have a slip. And yes, this is the reversible art. And my copy has this booklet in it. I think the first sort of copies that all these slips came to us fundraisers. This is not for the public, so if you ever see this in a like CEX or something, snap it up regardless of the price, because I don't believe anyone who funded these movies will let go of these copies. But I think the early public releases got these Video Nasties booklets in. And of course that will be the artwork for your version. So the first time I watched this, when I first got the film, I watched the Italian version, basically because it's shorter, and when I get a film with more than one cut on, I'd like to watch the shorter version first. So thankfully, when I watched this last night, I watched the longer version, which is actually the English cut. I'm guessing there is not a sort of shorter version which has the English audio on it. But anyway, I really enjoyed it. The first time I didn't quite enjoy it as much, I guess because I was reading subtitles, and I did find the pacing a bit off. I thought some scenes just took a little bit too long trying to build tension. They sort of built the tension, then they kind of went a bit more and you sort of lost the tension. But Bumper's right from the off. You get blood and guts literally blood and guts. And now, those of you who know, this is supposed to be a sequel to this. This is the film that Bumper's got to do next. He's going to have a lot of fun pronouncing Anthropophagus. And now, when you kind of watch this, having seen Anthropophagus the Beast, and sort of think, well, hang on, you can probably see how gruesome the guy looks. This is the main character here. But in this, he doesn't look like that at all. He looks completely normal. And in watching this yesterday, I sort of realised why. There's a scene at the end of Anthropophagus the Beast that, in my mind, explained why he is the way he is in this film. Now, I'm not going to spoil it there because, you know, if you've never seen these films before, then it's good for you to experience them for yourself. And ideally, I would watch Anthropophagus the Beast first before you watch Absurd. So the rest of my thoughts. Yes, there's some great kills in this, and there's some great use of special effects. Like I said, the timing was a bit off. There's a scene where the daughter of the family that's sort of involved in the film is kind of in traction, basically. But she can still sort of move, so she has to sort of escape her bed so that she doesn't get caught by the killer, really. And the whole thing of her getting out of her bed and the straps and everything that's holding her down, it to me went on a bit too long. But I could see where they were trying to build the tension, and it was getting pretty tense, and there's all sorts of sounds and things going on. But I concur again with Bumper on the dialogue. So most movies, all the dialogue you hear is replaced afterwards, invariably because there's too much noise on set. There are films where there is on-set audio. Dog Soldiers would be a very good example of the audio. The dialogue you hear is from on set. It just sounds completely different to whereas this sounds like it's done in a room, in a studio. You can kind of hear the room, and it doesn't sit in the movie, and that does take away a little bit of the enjoyment for me anyway. But you got to remember, this was released on VHS, and you know, we didn't have the sound systems we have now. They would be one speaker on the TV, basically, so you wouldn't necessarily notice the way the dialogue doesn't quite sit in with the rest of the mix. But now you may sort of wonder, well, why this cover? That's very relevant. And yeah, I was reminded of that last night. So yeah, Absurd is a really, really good film. Does it feel like a video nasty to me? Yes and no. If I was watching this back in the day on a VHS, then definitely yes. If I find a sort of a DVD copy that anything before this hasn't been restored, so it would be a really, what I call a crusty version, which I may have to hunt one down, because the picture on this is very, very good. It's very, very clean. The restoration job is brilliant. I feel very proud to have been part of it. So if I was watching it in a crusty way, then yes, I think it would feel like a video nasty. If I was on like an old school TV and sound system, unlike what I've got here is you know, 7.1 with a nice big subwoofer and a nice big 50-inch TV. So in some ways, a modern setup doesn't do this justice. So on this version, no, it doesn't feel like a video nasty, but it is a really good horror film. Should it have been a video nasty? Yeah, I think for back in the day, yes, I think I can see why it was banned. It's probably not quite as bad as that one. It's actually quite tame compared to some of the other video nasties, but that's what we're on this journey for. So what score do I give it? I think on my Blu-ray.com app, I think I also gave it 8 out of 10. So there we go. Pretty successful start to our journey of the 39. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. The next video for Anthropophagus the Beast will be presented by Bumper on his channel. So I'll put a link in the description to his channel because you'll need to subscribe. Now the thumbnail for this video is going to be the same for all the videos, except in the, say, the bottom corner it will just say episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, whatever. But we've kind of picked a thumbnail, and you've seen the little intro, so that will kind of be the flavour for all the films, all the episodes. Anyway, so that's Absurd. I do have a poster somewhere which I'm really trying to find because I wanted to put it up there so you could see that as well, but I'll have to find that and show you some other time. Anyway, please like and subscribe. Join us on our journey. Leave comments, let us know what you think of Absurd, and let us know which video nasties you're looking forward to in the 39, and take it easy.